Hello, welcome to Osterode in the Harz. The Harz region is a compact, hilly area in central Germany, and it's famous for at least a couple of reasons. One is the Brocken, which is a mountain about 2 days' walk from here that I'll be climbing, which is the highest point in northern and central Germany. And the other thing that the Harz is famous for are witches. And the reason I'm here on Saturday the 2nd and not April the 30th or May the 1st is because of those witches. Because on April the 30th, on the eve of the feast of St. Walpurgis or Walpurga, all the witches gather at the Hexentanzplatz, or the witches' dancing spot, over at the end of my route, near Thale. And they dance there and they work themselves up into a frenzy. And then they fly on their broomsticks across the Harz to the Brocken, where they hook up with the devil and they dance and cavort and do all kinds of despicable things up there. And I don't want to get mixed up in any of that, so I've left it a couple of days. Which maybe was a bad idea, because Deutsche Bahn then decided to screw up my arrival here by several hours. So it is now probably approaching 2 in the afternoon, and I'm about 2 hours late. But I'm going to head off up there, just behind me, up the Hunscher Weg, and start on the HARZER HEXEN STIEG, or the Harz Witches Trail, which is about 97 kilometers, 100 kilometers, about 60 miles. I plan to do it in 4 or 5 days. No time like the present. Los geht's, as they say in Germany. Right, the lady you can see here is a so-called Kiepenfrau. They were basically Sherpas. They used to carry all kinds of things listed up there. Letters, wool, wood, gunpowder, all kinds of things for the mines further up and the villages and towns further down. And they used to carry it in something like this, called a keeper, or a basket. Each of those used to weigh around about 40 kilos, or over 20 pounds. And they used to carry them, as you can see, just on their backs, and used to walk. Another nickname for these ladies is the camels of the Harz. Tough. I'm struggling uphill with a pretty light 10 kilos. Sorry, I got that wrong. It's 40 kilos or 80 odd pounds. I don't know if I can lift it. I'm going to try, but I don't know if I'll be able to get it on camera. Let's see. No. My ego tells me it's stuck. Hut ab, as they say in Germany, to these Kiepenfrauen. Look what we have here. So I'm sitting here quietly inside the Köhlerhütte am Eselsplatz, or the shelter at Donkey Point. where they used to feed and water the donkeys and mules that used to also, like the Kiepenfrauen, carry things up and down here. See, that's outside. In there you can probably see some of the destruction of the trees that has plagued the Harz in the past few years. Back in the day, when this was an industrial area, they basically stripped all of the indigenous trees, like red beech and so on, from the hills and replaced them with fast-growing fir and pine, kind of a monoculture. And that proved to be a very bad idea because it left them very susceptible to attack by bark beetles, which is what did most of the damage you can see out there. And then a series of storms a few years ago just catastrophically destroyed what was left standing in its weakened state. It's slowly regenerating now, but it's going to be a process of decades, and thankfully they've decided to let nature take its course, and when it grows back, it should grow back as a more robust, mixed culture. So at least we seem to have learned from something, but along the way we're going to pass through sections that, by all reports, will resemble a post-apocalypse landscape. I'm just taking a little breather out of the sun here. It's really hot, and I've only done about not even 4 kilometers at this point, and it's about another 7 before I get to a new water source, so I'm going to have to drink very conservatively and try and stay as cool as I can, and then in 7 kilometers or so hopefully stock up on water and be good to carry on for a while. Let's see. This is the shelter at Mariensblick, and this is the Blick. You can see it's used for skiing in the winter, and you can also see out there all of the dead trees, but I have to say it doesn't look anywhere near as bad as I feared it would, particularly now in spring where so much else is green. Yeah, this is nice. You could certainly spend a night in here. Here is the trail register, where you can enter yourself as walking the trail, either at the beginning or the end, depending which way you go. Let's see if we can. That was tough, the climb up here. It's with the sun beating down, all the shade gone because all the trees are gone. But now that you're up, there's actually sometimes quite a nice breeze, which is a lifesaver. Can't wait to find a water source. I'm going to drink a swimming pool. Okay, so I made it to the first of the ponds, and I'm here in the hut, where it's nice and shady. Outside there it's sort of blazing with sun. Pretty nice. My route continues down along there, along a series of ponds like this, and along an emerging dam and waterway system that we'll track for the next day or so. somewhere along here, when I get access to the water, I'm just going to fill up. And I don't know how far I'll get. It's tempting to turn off the trail here and go to one of the few close campsites, but I think I'll just carry on. It's approaching 5 o'clock already, and I've just about covered 10 kilometers, I think, 10 or 11 max. So that in 3 hours gives me a sense of how slow I'm moving, but it doesn't matter. I've got plenty of time, and I just wanted to get at least to here before evening today, mainly just so I had some options for picking up water. As long as I've got water, I'm fine. It's gorgeous out there. Well, the good news is that I now have 2 litres of water that I can filter. The bad news is I now have 2 litres of water I can filter, which I have to carry. Anyway, let's get going. What we're walking next to here on the left is a very particular feature of this part of the Harz, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site dispersed all across the place. This is what's called a Wasserregal, or a kind of canal stroke water management and steerage system that they built a couple of hundred years ago to help maintain regular supply of water to all of the mining outposts and locations up here, in combination with those ponds and various other things. And although it's very dry now here, that's probably because upstream there isn't currently a flood that they need to redirect and ease pressure from. It's quite a sophisticated system, and there are points further up which actually allow the turning of the water to flow in one direction or the other. Anyway, I'm glad I didn't rely on it to provide me with water. Oh, I speak too soon. Look at this. There it is in action. So this is the Widerwaage. I honestly don't know what this would be called in English. It's a kind of a, I don't know, sluice water management system that enables them to essentially turn the direction of the water up here to run in one or the other direction, depending on where they need it and where they need to relieve. It's very clever. What have the Germans ever done for themselves? The aqueducts. Unless my eyes deceive me, over there, that yellow building, might be the Sperberheier Dam House, which is an inn and guest house. But thanks to Deutsche Bahn, I don't think there's any way I'm going to get there before it's already shut. But it's a nice way marker, because if I get there not too long past 7, then I don't see any reason why I can't walk on to Eisenquelle, to the hut there. good. Dead Men's Valley. I don't think I'm going to go down there. This is what the terrain's turned into. Just when your legs are absolutely shot, it gives you this kind of thing. Oh, maybe that's going to be an hour for those 2 kilometers. Finally. I don't know if you can see, but over there is the Eisenquelle. And just next to it here is the hut. Please let it be empty. Please, please, please let it be empty. Well, made it to the hut. Still have daylight. Here's the hut behind me. It's nice. Problem is, I don't see any way or any great place to put the tent up. This is on a path and on a slope, though I could maybe make it work there. So I'm thinking just inflate the sleeping mat and put it down there and hope that I don't puncture anything. Oh God, what a day. I'll catch you later when I've made some other decisions.
Good morning. It's just gone 6. Looks like a nice clear day. A little bit of cloud, but doesn't look like it's going to be threatening rain. It's a bit fresh now, about 9 degrees. Took a long time for it to drop that low in the night, and product report: the quilt, extremely warm. To begin with, far too warm, especially as I had my merino sleeping wear on, and that in combination had me really cooking up a sweat in the early stages of the night, which didn't help me sleep particularly well. And so I have to think about that in future, but it's also reassuring to know just how warm this quilt is. So that's good. I need to get up, get dressed, do my morning admin, make breakfast, and hit the road. Hopefully by 7:30 at the latest. And then I can take it nice and easily, slow and steady, and just see how far I get. So, let's get going. Right. First things first. Let's get some water on. And then let's see what we have for breakfast. Easygoing porridge. Have that first, and then coffee. Three minutes apparently. That'd be long enough for me to take my performance enhancing drugs. Back in a minute. So I have a morning protocol and an evening protocol. Morning protocol starts with this. Inhaler. For asthma. And then all kinds of things. A couple of blood pressure tablets, an omega-3 and a multivitamin. So you just get these down my neck. Feel ready to win the Tour de France already. Let's have a look at the weather. Well, very generally, it's expecting it to be cloudy, which is good. Temperatures up to about 20 in the valley, presumably, and moderate wind. Can live with that. But tomorrow and the next day, very, very high chance of rain, much lower temperatures. So if I could get up and over the Brocken today, that would be good. Let's see how far my legs carry me. Okay, coffee time. I was going to bring these kind of 3-in-1 sachets. They each weighed 15 grams. Then I remembered I had these, just basic coffee powder. Each of these 2 grams. So 2 of these 4 grams. I'm saving 11 grams of coffee. Maybe a bit too much water. But there we are. It'll do. What are your plans for the day? Hope you're doing something nice. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this now. Yesterday, I don't know, I was in a bad mood. I felt anxious about the trip, sure. It's been almost a year since the coast to coast, and in that time I've done basically nothing. Finished the coast to coast at about 80 kilos, just under. I'd lost 4 or 5 kilos on the way, which I was really happy about. And then the post-trip blues hit in, and they didn't really lift. And so I left for this trip around about 89 kilos. And you can save all the weight in the world with your pack, but if your body is way overweight, then none of this is as fun as it could be. And so I was annoyed at myself, but I decided just to get going anyway. And then Deutsche Bahn. Deutsche Bahn. First it was, we have to let trains ahead of us go through. Then it was technical disruption, breakdowns on the line, whatever. We just sat there, no information. Then eventually we crawled to just 2 stops away, maybe even just one stop away from Osterode. And they said, right, everybody out, the train's terminating here. And no information, no idea whether any trains after that would be going through, no idea how long we were going to be stuck there. And fortunately, a couple of lads, Fred and Christian, wenn ihr das hier irgendwann mal zufällig anguckt, Gruß an euch. Fred and Christian just caught my attention and said, hey, would you fancy sharing a taxi if you're heading to Osterode? And I was like, yes, please. So we hung out, 2 lovely guys who had just finished walking the HARZER HEXEN STIEG and had spent 4 hours getting the bus back to Osterode to pick up their car. And So we shared a taxi. I then kept it and drove a little bit further into town to the train station. But ja, Fred und Christian, vielen Dank nochmal. Das hat für mich ein paar gerettet. And so then I got into town, looked around a little bit, made my way to the start, and by that point it was past 2. So, according to my watch, I was moving yesterday for about 5 3/4 hours, and let's see what the rest of the stats were. So, I did 22.2 kilometers in 5 hours 46 minutes and 27 seconds. I had an average heart rate of 148. I burned 3,945 calories, and I climbed just under 600 meters. 10 hours available to me. Let's say 8 of those are walking. 8 times 4 could do 32, but that's unlikely. But 32 from here would get me up and over the Brocken. Probably 25 would get me up and quite far past the Brocken. So 25 today, given that I've got 7 hours more to play with than I did yesterday, that has to be doable. Especially as, apart from climbing the Brocken itself, I've gained most of the height that I need to for this trip. Anyway, I'm going to finish my coffee and finish packing up and hit the trail. I hope there's visibility up on the Brocken. That would be nice.
Goodbye, Hutte an der Eisengefälle. It was very nice staying with you. 5-star Google review. It really is nice to be out early without any crowds. The whole place seemingly to yourself. I know it's a cliche, but it really is true. The start this morning has been very gentle, which I'm grateful for. I'm just walking along, as you can perhaps see behind me, maybe better here, walking along the Wasserregal, or the mine canal system. Remember, I told you about that yesterday. My views over here are wide open, and because I'm walking along a waterway, it is really quite flat. Very slight uphill in this direction to keep the water running, but essentially this is a stroll. How's your morning been? Thale 66 kilometers. Glaubt kein Mensch. Aha. What do we have up there? Torfhaus über Magdeburger Weg, Wolfswarte. That would be my direction. So a clipper is basically a cliff or a rocky outpost, and the Harz is full of them. So if I went that direction, I'd have a lot of them to visit. But my direction is this way, towards Torfhaus. And that I plan to make a couple of diversions from the traditional route on this trip. And one of those diversions would be going via the Wolfswarte instead of the now reopened Magdeburger Weg. I'm rethinking that as I go along. And we'll see whether I take the old traditional way along the Magdeburger Weg and experience that and show what it's like now after it's been reconstructed post-apocalypse, or whether I go over the Wolfswarte, which is apparently a very nice, rocky, elevated viewpoint. But on a day like this, I'll probably get views from the Brocken anyway, so Let's see. A little update. I've been enjoying walking along the Dammgraben. It's pleasant, it conserves energy, and I think I'll need all the energy I can get to get up and over the Brocken today, because I really want to enjoy this good weather. And also, it's the classic route that will take me through the Magdeburger Weg, and that has been closed for years while they restored it after storm damage. And I saw online some people saying that despite that, it's recently taken some more damage and is quite challenging to get through. So that might be an adventure in itself. So I'm going to do that. And we're going to take you on the classic route, at least for now, along the Magdeburger Weg. And then we'll see what detours, if any, I take after that. But for now, let's get up that hill. Forget what I just said. We stay for now on the straight and narrow. I overlooked the little HARZER HEXEN STIEG sign on the top of that sign that had the cycle route on it. And I'm reassuringly on the right path because I recognise this. You can see the casks they used to transport water in. Yeah. They have an example here that you can try and pick up. I'm going to regret this. Yeah. Life in the old dog yet. I wouldn't fancy doing that all day though. If you're into civil engineering, this is a cool walk with all of these. Right, so I'm here at the Silberbrunnen. I've just exchanged iron for silver, and I thought I'd show you one of the pieces of kit I'm experimenting with. I'm experimenting with a few things. Actually, I'll show you a few things right now. The first is this platypus quick draw. Very impressed so far. Really quick rate of flow, as you can see there. Fits this Nock Vecto 2-litre bottle, which I'm also experimenting with perfectly. Another thing I'm experimenting with is this solar panel. This is the Sunslice Fusion Flex 6, I believe, and at the moment I've got it charging this power bank. Now this power bank was basically completely out of juice this morning, and I don't know if we'll see this here, but we are now charging LED 3 of 4, so this has just been sat in my side pocket. This has been sat on top of my rucksack. Whatever the time it is now, doesn't really matter. It's a couple of hours and this power bank is almost fully charged again. I think that's great. Anyway, there's somebody coming, so I'll stop. That was a nice old chap who was happy about the weather and just said you just have to enjoy it, and he's not wrong. Here we are at the Schachtkopfhütte. Okay, this is nice. I think I'm going to stop here. I need from here around about 4 hours walking time to get to the Brocken, and it is now just gone 10, so that means allowing for some time to bimble around Torfhaus, let's say 5 hours from now, so on top of the Brocken by 3, and then I think 2-3 hours from there should get me to the Spinner and my camp for the night for about 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And I'd be very happy with that. See, on the top of the Brocken, it's a little bit like the top of Mount Snowdon. There's a railway that goes up, narrow gauge railway. There's a former kind of Soviet DDR observation station up there and radio platform. It was right in the middle of the militärische Sperrgebiet during the time of East Germany and West Germany. you couldn't get up there. So it's quite a matter of historical importance that we now can. But of culinary and gastronomic importance is whether they have currywurst and pommes or Erbsensuppe or something in that direction. So here we have the beginning, I believe, of the Magdeburger Weg. I just met that lovely old fella for the last time. He's heading down. Just a little 25-kilometer circuit for him today. He must be in his 70s. I think I've just found a role model. Yeah, this is pretty steep. Apparently I'm 3 kilometers from Torfhaus. If I make that in something like an hour, I'll be amazed. So far, so good. I've only slipped almost to my death once. Made it, Santo. So, way up there, that's the Brocken. And way down here, there's lunch. I've just had a giant currywurst and tiny pommes and a Coke. So that should give me some energy when it's digested. Up there is the Brocken. And the weather's changing. Wind is picking up. Clouds are coming in. So I guess I better get going. It's about 8 or 9 kilometers from here to the top, so that's probably 3 hours, and that means that I'll be summiting, if I get that far, at about 3:30. This is a relatively flat bit, so I can breathe okay and show you a little something. Previously this would have been all thick coniferous forest. I don't know if over there you can see the top of the Brocken. And now this has all just been, well, eaten to death by the bark beetle. And then storms did the rest. Climbing the Brocken is, in a strange kind of way, similar to cycling up Mont Ventoux. If any of you have ever done that, they're similar mountains, large kind of concave lumps, steady, gradual, unrelenting climb, 1 or 2 ramps, but generally, you know, low gear, consistent effort, and eventually you reach the summit after you get through the final nasty push to get there. And you're greeted by, well, the radio station. This is the final 4-kilometer push up the so-called Kolonnenweg. As you can see, this was designed for heavy military vehicles, tanks basically. And just down there, parallel to this, is the former inner German border. So now it's just a long slog up these Panzerplatten to the summit. Views are starting to open up. There's still a ways to go. A few kilometers and a couple of hundred vertical meters. So schnell habe ich nicht gesehen. Ist das im Gipfel quasi da drüben? Third time up here, first time actually at the summit, and I believe the first time with a view. It's a bit hazy, but it's there. It's about 3:45. Wind has picked up and clouds have come in. And I've got 8 kilometers to go until the shelter at Spinner that I'd like to aim for. But the good news is that's 8 kilometers downhill, and the bad news is that's 8 kilometers downhill. My legs are jelly and cement at the minute, but the way up was made more pleasant by a lovely couple whose names I didn't get. You don't always have to. We just had wonderful conversations about all of their travels and hiking trips, and so now I'm heading back down that way if I can still talk. What goes up must come down, and in this case down exactly the same way that it went up. Soon be crossing back into West Germany. There's the border. That's how easy it is today. Back in 1985 you'd have got shot for that. I should have known there was something wrong when I passed Eckersprung again. I'm just not thinking. I must be really tired. I've just walked about 5 kilometers in the wrong direction. I need to walk back up that way, uphill, at least 4 kilometers, and then turn right. What a fucking idiot. I feel so stupid. Just inattention. And now late in the day, just having to climb up 4 kilometers. I just shouldn't have had to. And to make it worse, that nice couple that I met, walked all the way up, sharing those travel stories, just met them on the way down. They were surprised to see me. Ah, there you go. That wasn't too bad, was it? Just a mild stretch of the legs. The road is long, with many a winding turn, especially when you take the wrong way. Like a prize, you then have to carry on. Just a few extra kilometers, and on we go. Yeah, this is not nice. This is not nice at all. I'm just taking a break and giving my feet a bit of a rest and an airing at this shelter. It's not the one I wanted to reach. That one's 4 kilometers still, but it's only 6:15, so that's doable as long as my feet hold out. I've still got about a litre or so of water, and there's a stream at the next shelter where I can get more. It was nice on the way up. I felt pretty good about the day, and then one moment of inattention and I could already be at the hut, with my feet up. Oh well, there's no point continuing to be upset about it. This is probably home for the night. Well, made it to the shelter at the crossroads called Spinner or Spider. This is it. Not convinced it's particularly weatherproof, and some bastard has left a dog shit bag over there. It doesn't look like it gets the best clientele. Welcome to my fortress of solitude. I decided to put the tent up because the hut here was one of those very, very small A-frame jobs. Didn't have a particularly good roof, and somebody had left some dog poo bags in there with dog poo. So luckily, just outside it, I found this relatively flat and sufficiently penetrable spot of ground, so I've flung my tent up. At least a couple of people have seen me, but I don't really care. Got my mat inflated, got my quilt lofting, and I've let my loved ones know that I'm still alive. So what happened today? Well, it all got off to a good start. Left Eisenquelle at 7:15. What time is it now even? Okay, 8:05. Left the Eisenquelle fully stocked up. Felt good even though I had terrible night's sleep. And it was a lovely walk, ran into this lovely old fella as I was walking along the Dammgraben. Just fascinating. Look at all of these civil engineering works that they've built here just to transport water. Shows you how important it is. And I'm glad I chose to walk the Magdeburger Weg, because that was really interesting, very challenging, quite technical, quite tricky in places. Food, and then headed off up the Brocken, and that was all grand. Headed up the Goethe Weg. Along the way, ran into a lovely retired couple, and towards the end, we just started walking together, and then said our goodbyes. I headed off back down, and then I just made a fatal error. I don't know what I was thinking, but at the point where the
narrow gauge railway crosses a path after following one up. It crosses a path that's going down, and I should have just walked straight ahead there. And if I had, I'd have saved myself, I don't know, an easy 3 hours of walking, because I didn't notice for ages. And I got all the way back to the place where the Deutsche Grenzweg, or the German border hike, crosses the HARZER HEXEN STIEG at the Eckersprung hut. And I knew that I shouldn't be going past that, but I was so happy to arrive there because, German border, blah, blah, blah. Carried on for about half a kilometre past that, and then this voice just went, hang on. Did some rough calculations, and I was an easy 4.5 kilometres out of my way and several hundred metres down, because you lose height very quickly on that. So I had to just make it all back up, walk back up. As you know already, I bumped into that elderly couple. I had to confess to them, continued, got up to the top, turned right this time, and then it was just horrible road walking for miles and miles and miles. I just got in a foul mood. I was low on water, probably hadn't eaten enough because I didn't eat anything up in the tourist hall. I didn't think I'd need to, because I didn't think I'd be out this long. And so anyway, at some point I got to the point where I knew I was now 4 kilometres out from here, about an hour or so, and then it was just heads down and go. But anyway, I got here. There is really a stream running close to it. Maybe not the best, but it's there and it's running fast, and I've tanked up on water. And much like yesterday, I really don't think I've got much hunger, so I'll probably just make myself a hot drink and then go to bed as early as possible. See you in the morning.
Right, it is 8:07. I've been quite slow moving this morning. I've just moved across to the stream. But let's get going. The road leads us that way. So the plan today and tomorrow is to do a fairly even 25 kilometers a day. I'm on around about the 50 kilometer mark now, and at 75 there's the campsite at the Radboder Talsperre, or the Radboder Dam, and it would be nice to reach there this evening so I can, amongst other things, have a shower and a wash before I get on a train the next day, hopefully with only 25 kilometers of stench on me as opposed to 100 odd. The first stop this morning is a rock formation viewpoint called the Trudenstein, and then from there to the small town or settlement Dreiannenhorne, which is little more than a stop on the narrow gauge railway that you all saw yesterday. But it does have a Erbsensuppe Kanone, or a pea soup stall, which is apparently a bit of a local legend. So it opens at 11, which is why I'm not rushing. And if I time it right, I'll get to Dreiannenhorne in time for a soup, for a slightly early lunch. And then it's going to be just a relaxed meander down along to Königshütte, the reservoir there, and eventually to the grand finale. And what that is, I think I'll keep a secret until we get there. I guess this is the Trudenstein. Right, just behind me here is the Trudenstein. It's only about not even half a mile from Spinne, and let me show you. So just over there, there's a nice place to sit called Aki's Blick. Thank you, Aki, whoever you are. Here we've got some information. Hoopla. Apparently Trudenstein, the name, is derived from the word Trute, which means witch or magician or female magician. And it was equipped with these iron ladders and so on the 1st of July 1894. Climb it at your own risk. And here, this is another example of the HARZER Wandernadel station, where you can get yourself a stamp, put it in your little book, and save up for your HARZER HEXEN STIEG pin, lapel pin. Alright, so here you can see the ladders going up. Let's go and climb. Yeah, the views really open up here. Nice little platform to walk over. Twisty turny. Another ladder. And we are up. That hill over there isn't the Brocken, but you do see it for a long way on the way down. The Brocken is somewhere over there, hidden behind those much smaller hills. But yeah, the view from here is wonderful with these conditions. Yeah, this is why we do this, isn't it? This is why we put ourselves to all of the trouble and the inconvenience, the physical effort, the injuries sometimes, the stress, occasionally the fear. It's so we can stand on top of places like this and stand above ourselves a little bit, get a little bit more perspective on things. At least that's why I think I do it. Why do you do it? Are you enjoying the view? Speed bumps. You have got to be kidding. Well, I'm here at the world famous Cookies Erbsensuppe Kanone, and as is to be expected at 9:30 in the morning, it's closed. And so my choices are sit here for an hour and a half or carry on and miss it. And unfortunately, I think the only reasonable thing to do is to carry on and miss it. Real shame. I often saw people, whose videos covered the HARZER HEXEN STIEG, they were making exactly the same point. Considering it's supposed to be a multi-day walking route, there is precious little in the way of resupply options or food or drink for people who are
purely walking it, you know, dependent on their feet. So, you know, local authorities, Harz Club, sort it out. What we have here is a slow worm. In German, Blindschleiche. And it's making its way very slowly across the road. First it went for freeze. Oh, and now it's gone for flight. Sorry, Blindschleiche, I'll leave you alone. I just decided to take a break. It's now 10:30, just before 10:30, and I'm at the Hütte am Steinbachtal. There's a nice stream just flowing past here. I can just pick up some water. So I thought, why not? I didn't eat much yesterday, and I'm feeling okay, but I'm not feeling full of energy. So I thought I'd treat myself to some spicy pork noodles and some bouillon, and see what that does for me. Well, we've just left Königshütte, and I couldn't show you any of it. Firstly, because there isn't much to show, but mainly because on the way into town, I think that meal that I had, or the water that I used to make it, did something to me that meant that I very urgently needed to find somewhere where I could use a bathroom. And of course, none of the locals wanted to let a stranger just use their toilet. The guest houses are closed on Mondays, and that's today. And even when I found the owner of one of the guest houses, he was just pootling around outside, and I begged him. He very patiently but uncompromisingly explained that they had just finished cleaning everything, and so no. So I went on swiftly, found the first secluded spot behind a building that I could find, and yeah, let it all out. Unsurprisingly, I don't really feel like a coffee anymore. Well, it's hardly the Mona or the Ede Dam, but I'm always impressed by these things. I'm just going to sit here and enjoy this view for a few minutes. Take a breather. That was funny. Just met a couple of cyclists, Jürgen and Ete, or Erich Peter, I think. Just had a lovely conversation, catch up, and I now have a new subscriber, so thank you very much. I'll cut in the little Cameo video in German we just recorded. So,
wie war dein Name?
Mein Name ist Anthony.
Anthony.
Ja.
Anthony.
Hi. So, Ete und Jürgen.
Jürgen.
Wir haben gerade hier an der Talsperre, hier in der Königshütte Talsperre heißt das, glaube ich,
genau.
getroffen und haben uns prächtig unterhalten. Die sind zwei nette Jungs,
genau.
Und die fahren, wo fahren Sie jetzt hin?
Nach Drei-an-Hohne.
Ah, Drei-an-Hohne.
Drei-an-Hohne,
Ja.
Wernigerode,
Alles klar.
Blankenburg und Halberstadt.
Überall. Ja.
Genau. Okay.
Ja, ich bin von da gekommen.
Okay.
So, vielen Dank.
Netter Mann.
Ja, und wir sehen
Schön.
uns im Netz irgendwo.
Wir sehen uns, genau. Dankeschön.
Spaß. Ja.
Ebenso.
Genau.
Cheers. They've just headed off now. They're cycling all over the place. My word. Makes me feel lazy. So I better get moving. Let's head on to Ruberland. Hopefully I'll be there in an hour and a half to 2 hours. Let's.
So Ruberland, also pretty much closed on a Monday. There's a kind of burger Bratwurst thing there, it's closed. All the Gaststätte seem to be closed. This, however, open 24/7. Only problem is the selection is really bizarre and it's extortionately expensive, but at least it had water. I could have done without this at the end of today, I'll tell you that. Hopefully it's the right way. This is okay though. I've made all that height up and I've calmed down a little bit. But we're about to hit a stretch of Landstrasse, or kind of B road, I suppose. And I don't know what that's going to be like to walk along. Oh, I do like to be beside the Landstrasse. Oh, I do like to be beside the street. Oh, I love to dodge the cars as they pile up and down. Tiddly pom pom. I'm pretty sure that when I get up here, I'm going to have to switch into Jeremy Clarkson mode. You'll see why in a minute. What you see behind me is the Rappboder Talsperre Dam, and what you see just in front of me is the Rappboder Talsperre Suspension Bridge. It hangs a good 100 meters above ground level, and it spans the entire length of the dam, which is around about 500 meters. And I'm about to get on it. Oh my giddy aunt. Yeah, when you stand still, you notice how much this thing is moving. But it's nice that they have calming music. I hope I don't get a YouTube strike for that. This is absolutely incredible. Oh yes, if you look down, you can see everything below you. And suddenly everything seems to be moving just that little bit more. Let's look straight ahead. Wow. I really did get giddy there for a minute. That's amazing. I mean, just look at the Just look at the size of that bridge across that dam. Look at all of that water stored there. It's really hard to grasp the scale of this. Hello. Hello. Only the brave. Only the brave. Pardon me. Oh. Yeah, okay. Right, part 2. This is just mental. I mean, I know everyone complained about the one in London rocking, but this thing, whoa. Just some useful information there. Ah, Lord. Hello.
Hello.
This is really disturbing. I'm playing Aerosmith in the background. Don't want to miss a thing. You wouldn't want to miss a step up here. Ooh. This really is staggering. Right, that was amazing. And now I've just got a 15-minute road walk along this Landstrasse to the campsite.
Right, made it to the campsite before they closed up for the night. Got checked in, had a shower, did some laundry. There's no way I'm cooking. Apart from anything else, just before I got onto the suspension bridge, I found a currywurst and pommes place, and I knew I wouldn't finish it, but I still stuffed my face with it, and I have to say, including Berlin, it was the best currywurst I think I've had in a long time. So that was worth it. Now tomorrow, it should be a relatively easy 15-16 kilometers, I reckon, from here to, first of all, Altenbruck, and then into the Boda Valley, which is described as the Grand Canyon of the Harz. We'll have to see whether it lives up to that description. But it is supposed to be pretty, and it's just a winding, meandering wander down to Thale, and hopefully that will only take me about 4 hours or so. And so if I get a good foot under me, and if I leave here at about 8, then about 12 or 1 o'clock I should be there in Thale, and that should give me plenty of time to travel by train home, assuming Deutsche Bahn permits that. You know, they didn't really want me to get started, so perhaps they won't want me to go home either. We will see. Thanks for watching so far, and I'll bring you back tomorrow for day 4 on the trail. Right, well, welcome to the bowels
of the campsite. On schedule pretty much after I got into bed. The rain came in. I gambled on not needing guidelines, I was right. But I did have one thought of just sneaking in here before the rain started, bring all my kit and just sleep in the hallway. Just so everything would be dry for today, but I thought, forget it. So anyway, the tent is soaking inside and out, from the condensation, from the humidity, and from the rain. I've just got it packed on top for a change. Otherwise, everything survived pretty well. Quilt got a bit of surface dampness, but it's dried out here in no time. Got everything packed up, ready to go. It's 6:37 in the morning, and might make it to Thale, all being well, for about midday. You ready for the final leg? By the way, this is another piece of kit I've decided to experiment with this trip. Trekking umbrella. I've yet to really work out how to attach it to the rucksack. But I am English and I'm used to holding such things. So let's see how this does. I have to say, in this kind of hazy, misty morning weather, little light rain, this is delightful. This is really, really lovely. Now, it's not without its challenges. Okay, let's see how we negotiate this. Here, there. It's helpful somebody's cut that one. Excellent. There we go. As I was saying, delightful. By the way, don't you just love it when you come down a tricky, technical descent out of the woods, you get to terra firma, and there's a signpost there saying, danger, risk to life, do not go up here. Yeah, I love that too. Oh, what do we have here? So obviously this is slate, and they used to get roofing slate, like at Honester Quarry in the Lake District. I wouldn't want that to be my office. Right, from a distance over there, I thought I saw a couple of campers getting off to a late start from the Schutzhütte, but in fact, it's a couple of witches having a grand old time here. I'm glad to see, though, they're on the alcohol-free wine. Though, to be honest, that's probably just to discourage people from breaking in and nicking it. Just passing through the delightfully named Schreckental, or Valley of Terrors. Yeah, it's absolutely horrific, isn't it? Risk of rockfall. Use at your own risk. Yeah, what choice do I have? Of course, they say that kind of thing, and then they stick a bench right under that. Make it make sense, please. Make it make sense. Interesting place for a bench. A big boy. There really isn't much holding this one up. This is a nice section. It's a little tricky to navigate with all of the tree fall, but the view down into the, well, down to the river is really nice. What a location. What a location. It's all going on here. Danger from black ice, danger from rockfall, and around the corner here this is just the right kind of weather for salamanders. Let's see if we see any. Can't believe it, I just saw a salamander. You see, I've got better shots. Got better shots with my phone. I'll stick them in. But so early, I didn't expect to see one just straight on the trail like that. Just goes to show I'm going to have to really keep my eyes open, so I don't want to tread on or hurt any of those little fellas. But my word, that was so cool. Okay, well, we just had first bit of rockfall. Fortunately, very, very small pieces. And I heard them coming behind me, so I just had to stop and pick up exactly where they were going. But it goes to show that things can just come down on you. It really does pay to keep your ears and your eyes open. Who did they make these steps for? Giants? through the border Thale, more or less, just past the border Kessel or the border cauldron, and just leaving the danger area with a bunch of kids coming in. Teufelsbrücke, Devil's Bridge. Let's see if he comes and grabs me. So this is the Gasthaus Königsruhe, which is open according to their opening times, and it also happens to be one of the oldest beer gardens in Germany. You know what? I am properly tempted. Let's see.
So here we have a German classic, split pea soup with a Bockwurst, bit of mustard in there for the Bockwurst obviously. $7.90 for the soup and the Bockwurst, $2.90 or something for the water. Obviously you're paying for the location, but let's get eating.
Finished everything on my plate apart from the mustard. It's time to get this done. Was it the best Erbsensuppe I've ever had? No. Was it the most plentiful? No. Was the Bockwurst okay? Yeah. Would I come here to eat that? No. Am I glad I had it? Am I glad it was there? Oh yes. I don't know how well you can see it, but up there is the so-called Hexentanzplatz, and that's where on Walpurgisnacht they get their dance on before they fly over to the Brocken. And you can see there's a cable car that you can take up there. I think there's a guy who wants to put a cable car up the Brocken. Bit of a letdown, this finale. You come out of the border Thale, which is amazing, and you're spat out into this, like, I don't know, playground, adventure park, and then back out onto this residential street to drag you to the train station where the trail ends. This must be the St. Petri Kirche, or St. Paul's Church. Oh, that's nice to see at the end. Got any advice for the last bit? Just keep going. Okay. You know what? Just when I thought I'd missed it. We reach the end, or the beginning, of the HARZER HEXEN STIEG. It is now 12:50, so about let's say 25-30 minutes till the next train, and then I'll be off. Whew. Strange end to a strange walk. Lots of really cool aspects to it, and lots of meh and eh kind of moments, and yeah, all a little bit strange. But I suppose for a witch's trail, that's maybe to be expected. You might get to see this at the weekend after I finish this. If you do, and you watch it, and you give it a like and a thumbs up and all of that YouTube stuff, I'd really appreciate it. And I think that's me done. See you next time. Bye bye.